has is to follow his own truth, to find his own calling and give this gift to the world. His name is Damien Nott. He has appeared on Channel 7 News tonight. The Today Show. He's regularly featured on Mexican television. He's been on ABC Radio, over 14 internet programs. He's been featured in the Sun Herald, The Weekender, The Guardian. All kinds of media has been drawn to this phenomenon that he is capturing. He has a colossal library and catalogue of unexplained phenomena. And have any of you seen a plane?
Yes.
Some of you. Audience participation not so good, but no judgment. Have any of you seen a weather balloon?
Yeah.
Has anybody seen a shooting star?
Yes.
Does anybody know where I'm going with this?
Yes.
Please welcome Damien Nott.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me, everyone? Excellent. Thank you so much for coming, and what a great turnout. Thank you, Anthony, for putting on such a great event, and everyone else involved, Nina, and you guys are all great. And today, we've got something pretty special, an hour-long presentation. Normally mine go for about 4 hours, 3-4 hours, so I have to cram in a fair bit. I've had to leave a fair bit out, obviously, but really, I just want to touch on, give you basically an idea of what I do, what I have been doing, what I'm involved in, and basically, I'm just here to spread the truth. And the truth is, I don't know what the hell the truth is, but the truth is that we're not alone. Something else is out there, or here already. Who knows? Really, it's all around us, and it's becoming much more prevalent, and becoming something that's really becoming undeniable to everybody, scientists and the like. A lot of people that I speak to in the public as well, people are changing their attitudes, which is great. People becoming more open-minded. I think that has to do with technology age, the internet, photography. We've got cameras in our pockets now. Everybody does. So this is something that is it's really reaching around the world at such a phenomenal rate now, and it's becoming so popular. And you've got to be careful. But there's so much stuff out there. There's real stuff. There's not real stuff. There's a lot of people claiming a lot of things, and what we're looking for is evidence. We need evidence to show the public, that they're not going to believe stories. Unfortunately, we need hard scientific evidence. Unfortunately, without actually having one of these things in our hands, little alien grey walking beside us, whatever, that we can study and probe like we would do, we don't have much else evidence apart from video and photography and stuff like this, eyewitness statements, all that stuff goes great in a court of law. You can put a criminal away for a whole lifetime behind bars if you say, yeah, I saw him, doing the murder. But if you say I saw a UFO, the court of science, hey, that means nothing. Okay, so we need hard evidence. Okay, so now a little bit about what I do. I'll get into it now. Now I'd like to explain as well. What you're seeing on the screen here is a little bit darker than what's on my screen. I think it's something to do with the projector. So a couple of the UFOs are a lot darker than what they actually are, so they're not appearing 100% the way that they should be. So, but you'll get the idea, and so without any further ado, I'm going to get into it and just explain along the way what I do and what I've been doing, a little bit of my story for those who don't know me and haven't, and also I've had a flu the last week and my right ear's blocked and I can hear my own voice in my head constantly at the moment. So it's driving me crazy, and it just happened to happen just before I started the talk. So so please just bear with me. Okay, so I run an organisation called AAPI. It's made up of a few investigators, a few people with an interest of watching the sky. So what basically we do, we have members from different areas of Sydney. If we see something, we'll contact the next person who may be 5Ks this way, 2Ks this way. We'll triangulate the object, we'll find the object. That way we can get better scientific evidence. You can actually work out then, heights and all that sort of stuff. the better, it's not just one video and one person's story, it's multiple videos from different angles, and that's, you know, pretty much the best evidence we can sort of get. We use EMF meters as well, stuff like that. So EMF meter, for those who don't know, it's electromagnetic field meter. The old type ones, the standalone type. So if something passes in front of the magnetic field and blocks it temporarily, it would register and make a noise. Now, a lot of these things, not all of them, do register and change the magnetic field of the Earth. So they are affecting, so there is some sort of scientific basis for what they're doing, or the energy or the power that they're using. It's actually affecting our atmosphere, and not just our atmosphere, but people as well. So I'll get into this now a little bit. So it's the journey so far. Okay, now here's a little bit of a video just to show you what I do with the website, a few of the TV things that we've done, and just to show you a little bit of an idea of, it started for me when I was 9. I had my first sighting, but didn't really kick off until I was staying in a place called Dunedoo with my father, just for a 10-month period. And all of a sudden, nightly, we had objects coming and swarming over the house, and people from all around the town were seeing them. We had police from the local districts coming and seeing them, all sorts of people, reporters. The Sun Herald came to town. They saw 2 of them fly over the house playing catch up with each other. They were blown away, and it was just, you know, there was people coming from all around Australia hiring buses, you know, bringing families of 13, 14 of them, rocking up at the door as strangers saying, hi, hope you don't mind, but I saw you in the paper, and do you mind if I, you know, have a chat with you? Fine, I had the time for everybody, you know. So it was quite a special experience, and you know, it got to the point because with my father, he'd know I'd seen them growing up, and my brothers had seen them with me and everything, and we used to try and drag them outside, you know, if we'd be camping out or whatever, and but the parents, they'd be like, no, they'd think we're crazy, obviously, and still sit in front of the TV. But when in Dunedoo, because my father had just retired from work, and I went up there to recover from an operation, and that's very dark. I'm not sure. Anyhow, and we started seeing these objects on a nightly basis, and I mean, they'd appear around aeroplanes, balls of light, and they'd follow the plane, and then all of a sudden they'd move in front of the plane like the plane's standing still, and then disappear. Now, the amount of time, that happened a few times, we'd see them go up to each other, these balls of light, orange balls of light, red ones, mostly white balls of light. I mean, you'd see the satellites. Everyone knows what a satellite looks like, what it does, its actions, whatever. You know, you'd know planes, everyone can tell, helicopters, natural airborne objects, meteorites, that sort of stuff. These things would interact with each other. You know, they'd almost like they were going to crash into each other. Then they'd slow down and then move around each other, then continue on. It was almost like a communication was happening between them. You know, sometimes we'd have multiple ones appearing in the sky, flittering around each other, playing some sort of game with each other. And, you know, you see something like that and you're blown away. And I remember one night we got one of my cousins there, and she had just been at the local pub and was really tanked. And we've been trying to get her there to see the UFOs for a long time, right? So anyway, she's rocked up, you know, with a stomach full of vodka, and oh, there's one. Oh, there's another one appearing. There's another one appearing next to it. Oh, wow, they're the UFOs. Oh, blah blah blah, and then that was it. So a lot of people would just go, okay, whatever. They're just lights in the sky. My uncle, we had a team there from UFO New South Wales. Mariana Flynn's sent a team up. The second they got into town, I was out in the backyard filming out the back towards the front of the house, and all of a sudden my father called me and he said, quick, come out the front, come out the front. So I've run through and, you're right? Excellent. All right, ear blockage again. Okay, and so, you know, I've run through and all of a sudden, and this gentleman who came into town, the lead investigator guy, and they're at the front, and my father's there, and they're both looking up, and right over at the house, this is daytime, a huge cylindrical orange glowing craft just low over the house. It was almost like welcoming these guys to town. It was just incredible. The amount of serendipities that have happened that I've seen that are associated with this, and the amount of, it's almost like they want they want to help you get the footage. They want to help you get this out there, and it's like that time and time again. And it's such a special thing, you know. And look, I go for periods sometimes, or a month or 2 months, where I don't see anything, you know. And anyone who knows me knows I get a bit sad because I think, oh, is it all over? You know, it's great, you know. But then when I get into that point, I'll look up, they will appear. And so this has made me think, and a lot of my research now is going to the human mind and the mind's connection with these things. Can we manifest certain paranormal events, such as poltergeist activities, these things? You know, there is a lot of similarities. I was mentioning before about the EMF meter. They both register on the EMF meter, so they both, ghosts and these things can change the magnetic field. Also, both of them can be seen in full spectrum and infrared sometimes. So there is, you know, they disappear and reappear in certain ways. And so I just got to have a drink here. And oh, geez, have I got a drink? Here we go. So it's very, you know, it's a very interesting subject, and it's something that is really. The more you get into it, the stranger it becomes. Now, when I was 9, I had my sighting. I had a red ball follow me at Blacktown. I was on my skateboard. I would stop and look up. This thing would then stop. I'd continue, it would continue, and then I'd stop and it would stop again. It really, when you're young and you see something like that, it would have been probably 20 feet above me. So, and I was late, I had to get home, and it was, you know, Sunday evening. I remember it like it was yesterday. And, you know, I ran home and ran up the steps, and I said, Mum, I had a UFO, a light follow me. And she said, oh, it was just a plane, you know. And even at that age, I knew, no, it wasn't a plane. There's not a red light that's following. And I remember very specifically, as it was moving, it was spinning at the same time on its own axis. Sorry, my ear again. Here we go. You know, a lot of strange little things have happened. I've been in a couple of documentaries, and one of them, Australian Skies, where I actually released footage of something, an ultrasound of a what you would call, some people would call an implant in this field, whatever the case may be. I've had it underneath my collarbone here since I was probably 4 or 5 years old. That's when I first noticed it. Oh, I brought that up to my mum as well. Mum said that it was more than, she didn't know what it was. So the ultrasound, the doctors, we took it in, and it moved in front of the lady while she was trying to, because you've got to pinch it to the top of the skin, and it moved, and it hid back down right in front of her. And this, like, it's sort of, the look on her face is priceless. So the next second, she's gone into the next room, grabbed another doctor, or I'm not sure if she was some sort of, you know, technician or whatever she was. She grabbed a doctor. Doctors come in, done the exact same thing has happened again, right in front of this doctor. It moved again. But we eventually we were able to get, you know, a good, you know, little reading of it. So there is something there. Who knows what it was? I don't know if it has anything to do with, you know, UFOs or whatever the case may be. Just more of an interest than anything. You know, I've woken up with what you would call scoop marks on my back that have appeared overnight. You know, my partner's a masseuse, and she, you know, she would give me a back massage every day when we were living in Taree. Then all of a sudden, one day, this has appeared overnight, this hole in my back. And we went to skin cancer specialists, we went to doctors. They said they had no idea what it was, where it came from, how it started, you know. And so that's strange as well, something appearing almost or virtually overnight. So there's a lot of strange things. You know, I've spent 4 years not talking about it. Only recently, in the last probably 6 to 8 months since the documentary, have I brought these stories out to tell people, because I actually have some evidence to back it up, and evidence in the way of photographs and recording it, taking photos of it every day, watching the progression of this thing grow or change shape and everything. Absolutely incredible. So there is something to it, okay? Now, I'm not saying what it is exactly, that it's the Pleiadians that are doing it. I don't know, okay? I don't know what's going on with that. But
So do you still have the implant? Did you keep the...
I've still got it in me now, yeah. It's still there.
What is it?
We've no idea. Well, what the doctor said that it was a foreign particle. So, foreign particle? So, What else could you call it? I mean, someone did mention to me it could be a build-up of calcium underneath, you know, in near my bone or something like this. But it's not attached to the bone. It's completely separate, and I've had it since I was very young. So you wouldn't expect a little kid to have a big build-up of calcium sort of sitting in his body like out of blue, you know, and
does it still move around?
So you can't see any of this footage. Yeah, it does move around, but I try not to touch it now because it creeps me out. So I sort of I keep it to myself a bit. So a little bit about what I am trying to show here is we don't just capture UFOs. I've seen unusual paranormal type things since I was young and photographed them in the last 4 years. This is us sleeping. If you watch the left corner here, we have flashes of light that appear above our heads in bed. I have footage of what people would call ghosts standing above me while I sleep, taken on infrared trail cameras, and I'm talking to this thing while it's standing above me, and I don't know what I'm saying. There's no audio. But this thing, and then all of a sudden it flies off into the wall and it's gone like that. And so something's going on. I don't know what these things are. But as you can see, it's very, very unusual flash. And it gets down and then back up and then stops. And yeah. No. Oh, here we go. Now, I used to have these white balls of light appear, and one I see this guy so much, I call him Jeffo. And when I moved from Taree down to Dunedoo, I was in the van with a friend, and Lance, he was driving me, and I'd see them as flashes near the car or flashes in the sky or whatever. I've seen flashes around, you know, since I was a child, and I always wondered what they were. So when I started getting the good cameras, I started setting the cameras up, and I would catch these flashes, and they'd appear as these balls of light, and they're very sneaky. They're very sneaky. They appear behind your back when you turn your back. They just do it's like they have a sense of humour. I'm telling you now, they are full on, and maybe they understand me because I've got a little bit of a crazy warped sense of humour myself. Maybe that's why they like me. But it's very unusual. But we also do normal photography, but you can't tell, and all this sort of stuff. So I think this is okay. Here we go. Now you can see some of this. Okay, these are some of the UFO photographs. Well, I call them UFO photographs, UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. I find it more apt because the term UFO has gotten such a bad rap over the years, and it's actually been used against us and as a ridicule factor. And you know, the government hasn't had to do much because it's people in the field that ridicule other people in the field. So the government just sort of sits back, and you know, we do all the disinformation ourselves. We really don't know what they are. They are a phenomena. We know that they're a strange phenomena, very, very bizarre one. And it's one that's interacting with the human race, not just interacting with the human race. Some may see it as dark as well, and I've had some dark experiences with this stuff. So, but not all has been dark, so I can't say that, you know, it's all bad, it's all good or anything like that, because I don't know, and I'm not going to talk about what I do not know, okay? You'd just be lying. Now, these things, you know, we've photographed them all around New South Wales, now Queensland. They seem to follow us when I go to presentations, when Mel and I are, you know, driving up the Pacific Highway or something, and we'll have them like hanging above the car, and then helicopters following them and all sorts of stuff. Really bizarre things, you know. We've had, especially over our house, they seem to come to the house heaps, and a lot of the times, not all the time, they will be followed by a helicopter within 15, 20 minutes, half hour sometimes. Once I think a helicopter arrived within about 7 minutes of one of these objects disappearing, and that was a white sphere that was just hanging above our house, again spinning around on its own axis on one spot. Now we've got footage of UFOs still there while the helicopters come as well. And I'm not just talking any type of helicopter. I'm talking helicopters that are so advanced looking helicopters with enclosed rotor blades and something like you'd see like out of Magnum PI. No, that's a bad example. No, that's in the 80s, right? So, okay, so bad example, but Airwolf. There we go, Airwolf is another 80s show, but there was a futuristic helicopter, right? We have these things, they open the door and hang out, and we've got footage. We got one, I think 2 weeks ago, UFO hanging above the house. This helicopter comes over, this super Airwolf helicopter, hovers, and while he's like just hovering above us, opens the door, looks out with his big helmet, and just like staring down at us. We're going, hey, we try and film as much as we can constantly, because otherwise it's just a story. A story is great, but it's just a story. And unfortunately nowadays you've got a lot of people with the proliferation. We're talking about the internet before. You have a lot of people who see this as a money-making thing, okay? A lot of people do, and unfortunately everyone can be a star now on YouTube, and everyone wants to be. Anybody can be. A kid can be a star on YouTube and earn money and all this sort of stuff. So a lot of people are monetizing fake UFO videos, making heaps of money, getting all the hits, because people are unaware. They think that that's what the real UFOs look like. Something out of Star Trek and all this sort of stuff. I'll tell you one thing, most of the UFOs that I've seen in my life, this is speaking from my own experience, have been strange shaped balls or objects, cigars of light, different colour lights, whatever is under that object or under the light. Maybe it's a different story. It might be like a UFO, cloaked. There was a theory that this was caused by whatever power, anti-gravitic energy or whatever, that these craft are giving off is actually ionising with the air around it and causing a glow. Now that could be quite a good possibility. So we really don't know. I really want one so that I can have it in my backyard and I can do my own testing with it, whatever the case may be. So I'll move on here. Now okay, again, you're not seeing it exactly the way that it is here, but you get the idea. This is when I first moved to Taree. Very, very, very interesting shot. This guy came down from up high. The photograph before this actually is a very strange dome-shaped cloud. This thing dropped down from a dome-shaped cloud in front of two of us, spun around, very bright, opened up like a seed, and this is what happened when it opened up. So you see the bottom left, it opens up, revealing what looks like a yellow interior with a metallic exterior. Now this has gone to experts overseas, and they've looked at it and they can't find any fault. They said that it does seem to have some sort of strange field around it. They can't explain it, and that's experts have looked at this. Again, it's not the best quality, but you get the idea. Now this thing then just went straight back up into this cloud and gone. Anyway, the next photograph, you see the same dome-shaped cloud with a black little dot inside of it. So, which is what I think obviously this could be, this thing. They're very curious, they don't hang around for long when they do. So that's why a lot of sightings are very short-lived. But lately, they seem to be a little bit more brazen. So something's going on, and whether that's they want to forward their knowledge to us that they're here, or who knows, maybe because we're becoming more open to them, they are becoming more open to us, and therefore it's a mutual kind of thing. So, but I think that this is the thing. Maybe 50 years ago, if the world had found, it's probably a good idea that this thing was kept secret, because it would, religions, structures, they used to think that this would topple religions, we'd change, we wouldn't go to work, we'd stop paying taxes, people would be afraid to go out of their homes, and they actually did studies on this, and so therefore, you can understand why. But if they know something that we don't know, this would explain it more to me why they've kept it a secret. And if it's something that's a little bit, bit nasty, something that could sort of like freak us out a little bit, then I could understand that more. Now, who knows? It's really strange. This is Tipperary. This place here is an absolute hotbed of activity every time I've gone to this place. Now, I've gone here, this guy you see here is Mike Williams. He's a Fortean investigator. He wrote the book Big Cats in Australia. This guy's been with me from the start, and he's seen more UFOs than anyone with me. And you know, he's just blown away by it. This guy witnessed a light that was probably about 3 or 4 foot long fly into the ground and dissolve into the ground about 1 metre off my shoulder. And at that same time, and I'll show you soon, we actually got footage of 13 of these lights behind us doing the same thing into the ground behind us. So, you know, it's something that's really bizarre. Now here you go again, another sign of their sneakiness. You see here the object behind sitting up in the clouds. They tend to pop out of a cloud and they can actually almost camouflage themselves to their surroundings. We've seen them with blue skies behind and they're white, and when they go in front of a white cloud they can turn grey. And then, here we go again. And so they do tend to camouflage themselves in certain ways. It's really strange. They can blend in with their surroundings, which is quite incredible. Now, okay, Taree again, we moved here. Early in the morning, this object was just hovering there, just sitting there. You know, I get up at weird hours. I used to get up at, 2, 3 in the morning, go outside, sometimes see something and sometimes film something and go back to bed like a zombie and wake up the next morning and look at my camera and go, what the hell? You know, that's crazy. That doesn't happen anymore like that. It's changed for me. It's mostly 95% daytime sightings now that they come around, which is, I love daytime sightings because, takes away a lot of what the skeptics can sort of say, oh, it could be just this or that. You know, nighttime sightings, daytime, they can say it's fake, but put your money where your mouth is, right? And get it tested. If you believe it's fake and you want to go tell everyone it's fake, you get it tested to prove that it's fake. Don't just tell everyone that it is. See, that's what a lot of people go to now and say, oh, it must be fake because it's too good to be true, or blah, blah, blah. It's the internet and a lot of hoaxes that have done this to us. They're destroying the UFO phenomena. And, sites like Third Phase of Moon have pretty much, wrecked the phenomena for people who are trying to get into it honestly and film and see the phenomena themselves. They just get put to the background. And I've seen it happen for the last 3.5 years. Excuse me, and it's quite sad. And I've seen a lot of people actually filming real phenomena that have been no attention at all, while these other sites get paid so much money to produce fake UFOs. And when these UFOs get shown to be faked, right, that just puts another nail in the coffin of what we're trying to do, and that is get the truth and the reality out there. And it's as simple as that. And so these guys here, I've got several photos of him. He started, what they tend to do, here's another thing about their sneakiness. They tend to actually, they'll hover there for a while when you first notice them. Then as soon as you get your camera out, they'll either disappear or they'll start moving and then really quick. They are aware that you are filming them. I'm telling you, it's happened too many times for me now to now not know that that's not the reality. They are aware, there's some sort of awareness, and really bizarre, really strange. There's another one over Taree. This was like a meteor. I lived in a converted 4th story factory. It was converted into a unit, a very, very big unit. And so we were up pretty high already. And this thing just, again, hovering. And as soon as I went to get the camera, then it just started moving. And I was lucky just to get that one shot before it went over the top of the building. And, they're incredible. And so a lot of these photos have already been tested. They've been shown to be not tampered with, faked, all that sort of stuff. I'd really love someone with the expertise to go through all of my videos and say, I know that it costs money, I understand all that, and this is what I'm trying to do, is to get this done, to get the best footage and evidence out there, to try and show that at least some UFOs out there are real. Okay, and they don't all look like something from Star Wars or Star Trek. Okay, so that's a lot of people seem to think that it doesn't look like a good UFO because it doesn't look like something that I've seen in a movie. And it's almost like a brainwashing kind of thing, and it's quite sad. And we really need to change that because it's real. It's burgeoning. It's happening right now. And it's one of the most incredible phenomena. Once you experience it, I mean, how many people here have seen, can I have a show of hands, have seen something really strange? That's a lot of people. That's excellent. Now, Imagine someone coming up to and telling your story to somebody, and they say, "Oh, have you ever told your story?" And people roll their eyes or go, "Yeah," you get that look and whatever. And when I got here last, I was speaking to the lady at the front desk, and I said, "Yeah, I know that look. So, I know it pretty well." And so. This is another one. He's one of these orange guys, and this guy came really close. I mean, really close, sneakily close, and hovers above you, and then all of a sudden, then just takes off. That's the moment he started to move really quick, and I just captured him. So another sneaky moment caught right there. All right, so now you've got these guys, multiple forms of light all together doing whatever. We got this is off film actually, and these lights were doing all sorts of things, floating above the paddock across the road near some cows, just hanging there doing its thing, whatever, then just blinks out, after being filmed for about a minute and a half. So again, some of them are really shy, but some of them are not shy and they just want to show themselves to you, which is incredible. And again, okay, this is taken from video as well. Now, this is an object which we had multiple witnesses to. We caught on multiple cameras, and this is one of my most bizarre UFOs that we caught. You can see how they sort of split off into different, light phenomena. They and then they can join back together again. This is something we're filming time and time again. They're also filming the same thing in the Hesteland Valley in Norway, and I need a drink again. Oh my God. I'm drinking coffee, that explains it. There we go. Okay, so, there is some phenomena where balls of light are flying through our sky. Smaller balls of light are forming near these bigger balls and then being sucked into them. Now, who knows what that could be? It's almost like they're an organic life form in their own right. It's just incredible. So. But some of the forms that they can take are just absolutely, like, as you can look at this. I mean, what can you explain that as? The lady who was with us at the time was a friend of the family. She didn't believe in UFOs at all. She was a skeptic, she goes to church and all that sort of stuff. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going to church, all right, or anything like that. I was born a Catholic, and I went to a Catholic school growing up, and I was sort of always getting suspended because I was always talking about the UFOs that I'd seen with my brothers when I was younger, and I was always bringing them up in religion class, and because blah blah blah. Anyway, and so I was like, and my name's Damien. Yeah, there you go. So so I was like, okay, oh God, get him out of the class again, like that sort of thing, and. Oh, don't worry, I've had that my whole life. Just recently, we were in Top Ride Shopping Centre, two friends of mine and Mel, and I'm sitting down waiting for the guys to order something. This woman's walked up to me and goes, "You're evil." I kid you not, right in front of all these people. People like around me are looking at me going, laughing, what the hell? And then she's like, "You're evil and everyone's going to know about it." And I'm like, "Oh Jesus, is she my fan? Is she a fan of mine? Oh no, great. I'm the Antichrist again, here we go." Another thing with that as well was my mother's favourite movie back in, I think 1978 was The Omen, who was Damien the Omen. So I found out last year, I kid you not, that my mother named me after that movie because it was her favourite movie. And guess who told me? Her brother. So that was great. I was like, thanks for that information. And it was about 2 months ago, we're driving towards Parramatta, and a lady walks in front of the car on a busy road, like with this evil grin on her face, and then slows right down, staring at me as she's driving, and then stops and she's like this. In the middle of the road, okay? And we had to slam our brakes on and just go, "What the hell?" And then she just, with this grin, kept walking, staring at us like this. And it was like, oh my God. And people were pulling up behind us, going, beeping their horns at her and everything. And And she's just staring, and I'm like, oh no, here we go again. I'm just waiting for her to, like, you know, do some symbol or something to me. And, you know, so this was a really good one. I caught this UFO, and this is another one with the light phenomena that does release smaller balls of light. And this is captured in 211 photographs in high-speed sequence shots. So I was taking about maybe 4 shots a second in high quality. Each picture is probably about 13, 14 megabytes, so it's quite good. So when you put them all together, it creates a movie, and when you speed it up a little bit, and I'll show you that a little bit later. But this object, this appeared, I think the first or second week I'd moved to Taree. Mel saw it with me, Lance saw it with me. I got a feeling, went to the window, and there it was, just gracefully flying up and down and doing these movements. A lot of you probably, as you have mentioned, have seen them, so you know they're sort of almost like a ballerina. Some of the movements that they can do are just so graceful and beautiful, and you're just starstruck, you know. And unfortunately, you know, I have to train people around me to not just stand there with their mouths hanging down, you know, down here. Because a lot of people do that, and that's just a natural reaction, because in your mind you're trying to work out, what is that? Is it a plane? Is it a balloon? Is it this or that? And so you can see the thought process going on in people's minds, and I love watching their brains get fried when they realise that what they're looking at is not what they think it is. So, and it's just, yeah, it's an incredible thing, and it really does shatter paradigms, you know. Another example of one that followed us down the Pacific Highway between talks. This happens all the time in planes. Actually, I came up last year, and then I thought I'd filmed a UFO on the way up here, and when I got home and looked at it on the big TV, it turned out it was a bit of sand out in the ocean. And because I haven't been in a plane since I was a kid, I didn't know what, you know, from up that height, what things look like. So it's easy for people to get, you know, misidentify things. And so, but there's a big difference between misidentifying something and hoaxing. Okay, it's very important. Now, oceans. This is over the Aboriginals in Taree said that this area was a portal area where they've had UFO action going back years now, and so we went there thinking, okay, we'll have a look, and sure enough, as soon as we get there, that thing's just hovering there. So we got that in several photos. It dove into the ocean, gone, and we've got video of them doing that as well, diving into the ocean at angles without creating any splash whatsoever. You know, balls of light flying over the ocean, all sorts of really bizarre things. Too bizarre to go into, especially in an hour. What's the time? Whoa, okay. Now, Tipperary, this is another one that was caught on film, and this was witnessed by Mike Williams, a 14 investigator I was speaking about. Here's a couple of shots from the actual video. And so you can see this object. This was completely quiet, just over the tree line, not far away from us. Just moving very, very slowly. No sound. No. Look, out of probably 362 UFOs I've seen in my life, I've heard a sound associated with 2. One was like a mechanical bird bat wing sound or something. So I don't think it might have been a, you know, some sort of top secret military bat or something that they were working on. And another one was a weird sort of buzzy humming sound. So, you know, I've heard of other people hearing sounds associated as well. So, you know, no doubt that there is, and I think that has more to do with the energy that these things are giving off and the reaction that it's having with the atmosphere around it. Buzzing, crackling, whatever the case may be. Here we go. This is more of these things that come over the house and just sort of hover. I've caught this guy's from film as well, and they're very interesting objects. And anyway, I'll continue along. Here's a good one. Okay, this was taken from video. Now we had a whole bunch of these objects just hanging there. These what you see here? These things here. All right, with a strange thing there, whatever. Here we have an insect for reference. Okay, and here's a bird. So you can see the difference between these large balls of... Now every single picture, I don't know if I've got all the pictures here. No, I'm only bought one. Yeah, because it's got the bird reference. But here's another example of that phenomena. In the other photos, you see these balls joining up temporarily, then separating, that kind of stuff. Now, that would be a boost for any government to have that sort of technology, at their disposal, if they don't already have it, So these things, they're just incredible. Again, another guy from video. We try and capture video and photo on multiple cameras. So it's not just one camera, so someone could say, oh, it's just an anomaly with the camera. No, that's not the case at all. If it's an anomaly with the camera, it means all your cameras are stuffing up at the same time, and that's virtually impossible to do. Now, it's just an example of some of these objects. Some of them give off little orange lights off them, some don't. Here's another one that we caught recently of showing again an example of the light phenomena separating from itself. This is in several photos we caught this, and on video. It hung around the above the house for about a good 6 minutes or something, so it was quite a lengthy sighting. Unfortunately, most of the photos turned out blurry because, I don't have the best camera equipment at the moment. I'm working on sort of upgrading all that sort of stuff. But, you can only do the best with what you have. So, anybody, the skeptics out there who are whinging and complaining, too bad. Okay, video again and photo of this object. Just went over the house very, very slowly. This is one of the longer sightings that we've had. And we caught probably about 15 minutes worth of footage of this thing before it flew into a cloud and disappeared. A lot of them fly into clouds and then never come out again. And that happens time and time again. So again, another sign of their sneakiness. One good example is an object that we saw a little while ago, and I was out the front, and I've called Mel out, and it was just a bright light hanging next to a cloud, not far, probably about 12. When I was young, I used to love clouds, meteorology, all that stuff. I wanted to be a meteorologist when I grew up. So I learned about all the clouds, cloud heights, where they start from, where they top out at, all that sort of stuff. It helps with what I'm doing now because it kind of gives you a rough estimate. If you see an object, just sort of say, hanging at the bottom of a cumulonimbus cloud, you can work out where that cloud starts to form at, then you can sort of have a rough kind of estimate, where how high the object is, or if it's above then you know that it's a certain height, whatever the case may be. So now some of these things are extremely high, some of them are extremely low, but this one in particular hovered there until, I got Mel. Mel came out, I said, keep your eye on it until I'll go inside and grab the camera. And they've done this before several times. Sorry, and they've done this before several times, and what they do is they'll hover there, wait, you go get the camera, so Mel will keep an eye on it, right? That's sort of like the routine we have so we don't lose it. And so I'll get the camera and I'll come out, and as soon as you come out to go film, it'll quickly fly into a cloud and disappear, like on purpose. The timing could not be more, I don't want you to film me. Simple. I want you to see me, but not film me. So I can't work out why some want to be filmed and some don't. So I don't think it's a shyness thing. It's we're shy aliens. No, sorry, not going to happen. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see that too well, but these two objects were hanging over the neighbour's house, and this is after not seeing a UFO for about 6 weeks. And I was really sad. I was taking out the rubbish, and boom, two red lights just hovering there. I've had that happen before, where I've walked out with the rubbish and there's been a red light above the house and whatever the case. But here was two of them just hanging next to each other, completely silent, spinning again. You can almost see the spinning in them. You can on here. So, and it was just really bizarre. And then they just blink out. So sighting lasted probably about 30 seconds. So I try and have a camera on me wherever I go now. I have to, because I've learnt the hard way too many times. They seem to do things to make you want to have your camera next time. By going, sucked in. We're going to give you a really good sighting because we know you don't have a camera. So that next time you're going to bring your camera and then you're going to, you're going to capture it. So, okay, here's another guy. This is really interesting. This was caught the day that we had, there was a sighting over Sydney of what looked like a huge UFO, right? And Google at first said that, it wasn't theirs. The police said it was a helicopter checking out power lines. The military later in the day said that it was a drone. So there was different people. And it was seen by thousands around Sydney. And, so I got several photos of it really up close. Some did look like really strange, almost did look like this Google balloon shaped thing, right? But other photos, like these ones, well, you see this spitting out little white balls. Now this is that phenomenon I was telling you guys about. Oh, God. Sorry. And so that's very strange. And again, I mean, at the end of the day, Google then changed their story and said, oh yeah, it was our Google balloon. After like people everywhere were saying, what the hell's going on? What's this thing in our skies? It was seen in Randwick early in the morning. And then sort of just, I filmed it in the one spot with the tree as reference, with the tree, it was very windy, with the tree blowing, 45 minutes this object stayed in the one spot. Now I don't know of any balloon that can stay in the one spot despite the wind, because if you know, it's, as you probably know, it's, when it's windy on the ground, it's windier up there. Okay, so I've never seen a balloon hang in the one spot, and this was the object up close. Very bizarre, very strange. And so, I'll leave that up to you guys. This was a brilliant one. You can't see it too well, unfortunately, but bottom left corner, there's actually a tree for reference. But this thing was 3 lights in sort of almost like an echelon formation with a leading large light up here at the front. This went over these trees, and we were driving back from Tipperary. We had a bad night. We didn't see anything at all. We were like disappointed. Anyway, I've looked up and there's this thing floating over the road with blue lights on the back of it. It was huge, almost like a triangle kind of thing that you'd see in the movies kind of thing. And so it was really bizarre. So I got one photo of that, and then this thing just moved off really quick, and we were turning, so I lost sight of it. And I got the guys to stop, but it was too late. We couldn't see it again. But really, really bizarre, kind of phenomena. Here again, a lot of them are, you can't see, there's actually a big storm there in the background. And a lot of them are associated with storms, with lightning. So that could lend, some credence to the ball lightning theory. That's a possibility. So that's the second photo I got of that object. So you can see there's the big storm in the background. There's the rooftop. Here's this light, a smaller light near it. They don't hang around long. Here's another example of the plasma, or what I like to call the plasma light phenomena, or giving off smaller balls of light out of it. It's just almost like it's an unstable in our atmosphere. There's some stability to it, but it can become unstable. Parts of it can detach and then reattach itself. It's not like a flying saucer, what you see out of, again, Star Wars, sorry. But, okay, they've also been seen around planes. So many times, I've got so much footage of UFOs, planes and helicopters. Now, it's almost to me like we'd take our kids to the museum to show them antiquated technology that we used to have. So it's almost like they're coming to the Museum of Earth going, look at these, and look at this stuff. We used to have this 10 million years ago, whatever the case may be, who knows. And so that's how it feels, really, when you see what they do and their almost childlike activities and the way that they play around planes and helicopters. It's incredible. I've got footage in Taree of one hovering above helicopter blades while the guy's hanging out looking for it, and it's hovering right above the helicopter, following them along. So it's very.
Could it be that, if this is all their version of astronauts as ours are, so they are here studying what we are, as we would study.
Yes, good possibility. Yeah. Look, if they are sort of, there's a theory that they could be us from the future, right? If that would make sense. to come back to see, like to look at the, you know, antiquated technology, look at the way that it used to be, look at, you know, yeah, they could be astronauts, really. You know, I've thought of that myself. I've thought maybe they are humans because they do act a lot. They have a lot of, like the sense of humour and other traits about them, and their trickiness and stuff like that. You kind of think, I don't know too many species on this universe that are tricky like humans. You know, so it's you know, it's a good question. It's very just one of those things that until we get them coming up to us saying, hey Damo, I'm a grey reticular alien and this is why we're here, and I'm going to sit down and tell you the last 5,000 years of the Earth's history, and then I'll be like, oh wow, okay, I'm sitting down, I'll be there for a week listening intently. Okay, so but who knows what it is. There's a lot of theories, and that's the beauty of this thing. You know, you can based on your own personal experiences or what you've read, what you've come to understand yourself, you can come up with your own theory about this. And that's the beauty about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people think that they're evil, that they're good, you know, we really don't know. There is some of the strange things like abductions. To me, that seems like taking someone against their will. Okay, if that was to happen on Earth, it's called kidnapping. Okay, so it's kind of strange that they can do it, and it's almost like that. It's masked, and it's almost like a dream kind of thing. And so there's something very, very suspect going on underneath all of this. So, you know, I think there's good and bad that permeate through the whole universe, and you know, and look, I mean, look at humans. We're good and bad in us, in all of us. Look how judgmental humans are. You know, we judge anyone who looks different to ourselves as being, oh, you're inferior to me. So imagine how we're gonna. That's with the whole thing with the landing. Why didn't they land on the White House lawn? You know, and people say, oh, why don't they do that? And the skeptics, that's their big thing. Well, look at us. Look at what we're like. We are animals, sorry, but we are. We're just animals who are starting to grow some brains, right? Now, and in reality, they would know that. They would know that we are still a war-like species. We create war with everybody. We can't even walk down our own street. You see in the paper every day, racist attacks, hate-filled attacks. You know, people being raped and, you know, war and murder everywhere. It's constant. So anyone from up here would not come down and land on the White House lawn and go, hey guys, we're here. Yeah, everyone stop everything because we're here. First thing that would happen, I'm telling you, the Americans, sorry, nothing against the Americans. I love Americans, I love all humans. And I'm sure the Aussies would do it too. If we had a baseball bat, right? Or a gun, anyone that looks different, if you had this little guy coming up to you going, blah, 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 you'd be like, oh, yeah. You know, I mean, seriously, we look at the way we treat anyone that's any different to us, okay? Even our own species, all right? So it's just, the reason they don't land on the White House lawn, because they're not stupid, all right? So they're doing it in ways that slowly sort of letting on that something bigger and special is going on around us. Okay, here we go, we'll move on. They fall off the tips of airplanes all the time. This was at roughly, according to my app, it was roughly about 12,000 feet, this plane. Now, I got a series of sequence of photos, also video as well, of multiple objects hanging off the tips of these planes and following them. For again, what reason? Very curious. You know, it's just very bizarre. They love airplanes, and I hate airplanes. I've hated flying since I was a kid. You know, and I had a major thing about it. And I didn't get onto a plane up until November last year. You know, and I'm 37 years old, and so it was like. It was a lot for me to get up there, you know. Even though I'm the one who's always photographing the sky and stuff, you'd think it'd be nice and easy to do, but no, not the case. But now I've beat my fear of that. So now, like, I'm really looking forward to sort of heading back. Oh, actually, I'm not really. I want to stay up here. It's beautiful. But you know, and filming out the window because
I did on the way up, and I think I caught something. Like, I hope I did. And you know, so these things are incredible. They love following aeroplanes. You know, we've got so much footage of them following planes, helicopters following them. So someone is aware that they're around, and I'm not sure if it's because they're getting picked up by radar, or if also, like I mentioned with the magnetic field, they have bigger detectors than what I have, obviously, and they.
Do you know who the helicopters belong to?
I have no idea. They seem to be untraceable. So military, private. I'd say private. Because a lot of that stuff, they'd have to keep it out of the military for the reason that, look, it's very compartmentalised, this subject. According to certain individuals I've spoken to, it's the best way to keep a secret. You can't tell someone in the military everything, that they'd know everything, because then you could just go in, grab him, torture him, and then you'd know everything about UFOs. Certain people know certain small bits of information and segments of information. And look, I've been approached by military people, and look, I don't know if they're legit or whatnot, but you know, a couple really did seem to know what they were going on about, and did have some backup evidence to show me, which was quite an eye-opener. And so I think that it's a secret there as well that they want out. A lot of people in the military want out, because it's just but a lot of people don't. You know, so I think we're still stuck in that kind of thing. Okay, now we don't have much time, so I'm just going to really hammer through this a bit. Now, these are what I call cluster UFOs. These guys are really interesting. They hover in the way of flight lines, aeroplane flight lines. Now, as you see, this guy's it's a little bit different here. It's looks more joined together here, but they're separate. They hover in the one spot, and they can change shape. And they can, it's a little bit over darkened, unfortunately. But they hover in the one spot, and here we go. This is 15 minutes later, the same object, and here's a plane going right in front of it. And with another bunch of these objects heading towards it this way. And what they do is then they'll just stop and then just pile on top of each other and just hang there. It's really bizarre, and I've only ever caught these twice, these types of objects. So, and they're usually black. They don't give off light or anything. So I'm not sure what they're about. They're quite strange. But again, they join together and they separate. So that's a phenomena that is, you know, concurrent with this UFO phenomena. At least nowadays, it's changing as well. It almost seems like the phenomena is changing with our technology as well, which is really bizarre. It's made me think in the past that there may be other races living simultaneously, if you believe in multi-dimensions, ultra dimensions, whatever the case may be, living simultaneously alongside of us while we are, and their technology is also moving along while ours is. So that's why we're seeing different types of craft. We're seeing a lot more of these light forms, and you know, so I mean, there's different multiple possibilities. So here's some more in the way of planes. Yeah, and they love following the planes. You know, all of these we have video of as well as photograph. And here we have what looks like and appears like, for all intents purposes. So one reason I put these next two in was to show you that, okay, they're not all, you know, light form craft. Some do have, you know, structure to them, and they follow contrails in the sky. A lot of people might think chemtrails or whatever the case may be. I don't want to go down that conspiracy part. That's not what I'm about. But they do follow the contrails in the sky, which is really strange too. This is an earlier one we caught in Taree. This was captured high-speed sequence shots. It was taken about 3 shots per second, I believe. And about 4 shots after this, all of a sudden, another object came the other way with a blue rocket out the back of it. And I mean, a black long object with a blue rocket. And I mean, it was absolutely incredible. And, you know, who really knows what they are? It's just, they're just amazing. So I will just play this one quickly, a couple of these. Okay. Now this is the one where Mike Oh, you can't see a thing, right? Oh, did you see that? Wow. Hold on. There it is. Now, okay, this is where we've caught these 13 objects flying into the ground at high speeds. Also, we have one in a second appearing horizontally out of thin air across a mountaintop. So it's one of the first real bits of footage I've ever seen in my life of a UFO appearing out of thin air and then moving along, taking shape of a cigar and moving along. See it here, obviously, but my website is www.aapi.info. All of the footage is up there. It's in its normal colouring, and you can see it. And so yeah, it's.
Turn the lights off so we can see it.
So turn all the lights.
Oh, it's not the lights. It's something wrong with the projector, unfortunately, I think. Yeah. So, you know, there was a couple more videos to play here. But I think I'll leave it at that, and unfortunately I can't really show you too much else here. But yeah, basically, look, I've given you a brief overview of, you know, some of the objects we've seen, a couple of, you know, the stories, whatever the case may be. I'm working on a documentary at the moment called Fractured Realities, and based more on my story growing up and my sightings. You know, with my family, it's brought my family and I much closer together, because finally now my father believes that, you know, me and my brothers, that we're not 100% crazy, just that little bit crazy still. But finally now, you know, we have, you know, it's brought my father and I so much closer together, to the point where in Dunedoo we'd sit there with, every night we'd go out there and we'd sit there with, you know, our scribble board and count down every single one we'd see, and he'd get so excited like a schoolboy, you know. And my father was a branch manager for St George for 40 years, a really hard, you know, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, nothing like that, really straight-laced kind of guy. And for him to be like a school kid all of a sudden, it's just, you know, it was such a big thing for the family, and it was, you know, it's a beautiful thing. So look, I encourage all you guys to get out there yourselves, look up at the sky, and encourage other people to look up at the sky as well, and you'll never know what you'll see. Any chance you get, if you walk outside just out of the blue, just look up, you know, and you never know what you'll see. So thank you for coming. Cheers. Appreciate it. Thank you.